right, what's up, man? Shamrock Show, episode 9, the casting couch with Tony Marshall.
What's that area over there?
Hey. Yo, if you're watching this, I always forget to say this, but yo, give it a like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. It helps a lot. It helps me get solid guests such as this stud right here.
Thank you, man.
Now that I'm getting some views, he's willing to show up.
Yeah, well, you had some good ones. Pebbles, got Steve Tefty in here. Those some good ones. So I'm honored. I'm excited for this. I'm excited to do it again in the future too.
Yeah, definitely, man.
This goes okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it will, man. I'm happy to have you, man. So if you don't know, Tony Marshall is one of the, I have to say, the most well-known musicians in this area. Plays my spot all the time, but you know, I've never met a person who doesn't like you. Like, and I say that knowing that you're not a fake person, because I know plenty of fake people. Oh, everyone loves that guy, and I'm like, he's a fucking asshole. But you're like if you don't like Tony Marshall, like generally there's probably something wrong with you. You're just such a nice dude, man.
I appreciate that, man.
I don't know anybody who's, I've never been like, I got Tony Marshall, like, I don't like that guy. I never get any negative feedback on you. I don't know how you get that, because everyone fucking hates me. I don't even know how you live like that.
Well, here's the thing about that. There are people that hate me out there. There are so many foes and enemies of everybody, but the problem is that people are really quick to demonize everybody. Like, really demonize good people who make mistakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
people make mistakes, and then it's like forever.
Right. God forbid.
I will think about this for 17 years, blaming somebody that did something at 29 to, whatever, and then they're 50, and they're like, no, that guy's a piece of shit. It's like, no, he's not really, so take it easy. So I think that's more or less, but I am out a lot. I meet a lot of people every single week, and no, I enjoy people. I enjoy chit chat. I enjoy like realness and all that stuff. So it's
good. Man, I always love catching up with you after the shows. How long have you been playing where you're getting paid for it, like a professional? Like right now, full time, you're a professional musician.
Yep.
There's a time in my life before I got into the bar business, I didn't even know that existed. I thought there was like Guns N' Roses and that was it. You know what I mean? I didn't know that there was like, well, you can have a full-time job making like a good living by being a professional musician. I just didn't know it existed. How long have you been? Not necessarily even just where it's been your only source of income, but how long have you been getting paid to play music?
It's been since 2008. 2008 was the first year, so I think this is year 11 or year 12 I'm on.
Not bad, man.
Yeah,
does that date you a little bit?
Yep. Yeah, you know what? And I feel the date even more, not because of the way I feel on stage or the way that the music is presented, which is always gets better. It was when I started.
Yeah.
I was young, and a lot of my friends that are in their mid-20s are kind of still around. So when I did my first show, there was like 90 people that showed up and filled the room before I even got there.
Right.
And I felt like I was on tour. Like I was like, oh my goodness, this is my first show. I knew 20 songs on the guitar. I really was not been playing guitar since I was 11, but I didn't really take it very seriously. I didn't appreciate the instrument until I was really wanting to sing live again, because that's what I went to school for. It's what I did since I was 5. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I got to do this. And then I walked in. I'm like, oh my God. Everybody's like, we're rooting for you. I'm like, oh, I'm just singing some tunes.
Yeah.
And then
where was that at?
That was at the Dubliner.
Really? That was your first gig?
That was the first gig. So how that happened was,
real quick, if you're watching this and you don't know, so the Dubliner was an Irish bar, Mohegan Sun. So if you take where the Lansdowne pub is, it used to be 2 bars. It was Lucky's and the Dubliner, really, really great venues. But now it's been combined into one big bar. But so that your first gig is in the Dubliner. How'd that come out?
So I was in the Black Sheep right down in Niantic.
Yep, right next door to us.
And I saw someone playing, and I thought, I can do this. Like, I should do this. Mm-hmm. I looked at them, and they were probably 10 years older than me, but I said, I can do this. So me and my friends decided the best way to do that was like to do some open mics. And Chris Turkinson, thank you, man. But he was a sound guy there, and he was doing open mic. So I went and did the open mic, and then the management came to me and just said, "You want your own show here once a month?" I said, "Yeah." And then Tannenbaum, and then that was that. That was a wrap. It's been a lot since then.
Who was the manager at Dublin at the time? Do you remember offhand?
It was Kevin McElwain.
Oh, okay, Kevin Mack. Yep. Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Yep. He was really, he was like, dude, He's like, they were really impressed.
Yeah.
I really like it. It's perfect for this vibe.
Yeah.
Let's get you in here regular. So I did that for over a year.
Yeah.
And then.
That's dope, man. I love Kevin Mack. Dude, those days were so I can't put to people how awesome those days, to me anyway, like Ultra 88 when it was in its heyday.
I say Vegas. I just say, well, if you've ever been to Vegas, it's pretty close to that.
Before social media, and it was just, it was wild. And there was a really cool group of people who were running all those spots. Jason Juka, and who I hope to have on this podcast sometime, Kevin Mack, Brian, Jeff Chase. So
much fun.
Yeah, man. Those days were like, it was really so much more about the substance than the social media. You know what I mean? But it was cool. But that's
True
dope
story.
That your first gig was in one of the biggest casinos in the world.
Yeah, so that gave me a nice little kickstart into being
right. So because if someone comes to me and they want to play, and I ask them, well, where have you played? If you're starting, if you're like, oh, I play at the casino, I have to assume that you're pretty decent. So you're starting. It's like football. You're starting at the 10-yard line. It's pretty dope.
Yep.
I want to kind of go backwards though. You said that so you started playing guitar at 11.
Yeah.
And was that something like that? What interested you in music to begin with? Because like I've never played an instrument, or not well anyway. It just wasn't anything that I was naturally drawn to. So at 11 years old, playing guitar wouldn't be in the top 500 things that I even thought of. Just wasn't my thing. How did you end up playing guitar at 11?
So it even goes further back than that. I started singing first, and I was a singer first and foremost, and I still am.
Yeah.
I think a lot of guys out there that play, that I see locally anyway, and whenever I travel in the United States, they're guitar players that kind of converted to singing. So it's a really different thing for me, and I think if you sat me next to a lot of them, you'd be able to see that if you were paying attention to how well is the guitar playing versus the singing for each of these guys. I am totally a singer,
right?
Converted guitar player, but I was interested in the guitar because I really just knew, like a lot of singers out there do not have people to play the music behind them so that they can sing how they want to sing.
Okay.
It's like tons of people. There's great singers that work all around in the area at Hot Rod. There's these little secret singers that are really, really good, but they don't have anybody to play for them, and they don't have anybody that has that like same thing. So
the finished product doesn't come out.
Right. So I said, I love the way that acoustic guitar sounded, and back in the early 90s, I was like listening to a lot of EPMD and like KRS-One and Bone Thugs and Harmony. Like I was playing acoustically to it and like beatboxing like on my own and trying to make these beats. And then Craig David and Jodeci, and there was a bunch of like hip hop artists that had these acoustic guitars in the tracks. Yeah. Jagged Edge. It sounded awesome to me. So, and that's where I really got drawn to the guitar.
That's super cool, man.
It's a weird thing because everybody, when they see anyone holding a guitar, they're like, "Oh, play Seeger, play Hall & Oates." I'm like, "Oh," and I got a lot of stuff. I got Beatles, I got Dave Matthews. I was really drawn to the guitar for that sultry, like hip hop, almost like rap beats, but with an acoustic guitar to keep that soft, like. You can have a singer like Neo over or Usher or something like that. Yeah. I still like that music.
That's tremendous, man. That's so cool. So I love doing stuff like this, man. I talk to this guy every week. We're together at some point in a room, and I just learned that about you.
Yeah.
And then you said you went to school for music.
Yep. I went to Ledyard High School. It has a really strong music program, and that was another thing for me. For singing in general, I did a lot of chamber music and jazz music like growing up.
Yeah.
On my own, I was singing at home and doing the stuff that I really like, made my head bopping down, that kind of stuff. But I was really drawn to the sounds of harmonies and everything. So I focus on that. And you can see in our band, I sing a lot of harmonies. I'm really big on it when I sing with like Ricky Miller or anybody that likes harmonies like I do, or just like voices combining together. Right. That was a big part of the singing part for me. So I kind of made it all. Now my show was all those elements. It really is. I'm doing my own harmonies. I beatbox and loop it and play guitar, and those are the sounds that I want. And it's kind of cool. Like I could either have said, well, no, this band doesn't want to play what I want, or I can't get the right sound, or just do it on your own.
Now, being a professional musician, does it affect you when you go out and see somebody else playing? Can you enjoy it, or do you break it down? Like, are you a critic? Like, when I go out to a bar and I'm like, oh, why are they carrying this, or this bartender's doing that? Like if I go out to a bar, if I hear anybody playing, pretty much if they're decent, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is good. Do you hear it differently?
Yeah, unfortunately. I try not to because, again, you can't demonize anybody or even judge them that much because talent level takes a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm not saying you're demonizing it. I'm saying, are you able
no,
to?
I
Are
mean,
you able to enjoy it without being a critic because it's something
Probably.
that you obsess over?
I think probably not.
Yeah.
Because if I hear someone that I don't think is great, then all my friends are also talking about it before I even do because I'm not even going to, or they'll be like, oh my God, what do you think of this guy? But if they're good, then it's super intriguing for me and I really like that. And honestly, I'm playing a lot so I don't get to hear over the years a lot. I don't get to go to concerts with my friends on Saturday nights because I'm here doing something. But yeah, when you hear someone good, we make such good connections from that. Like the appreciation, like I don't know you, but we got this like music love. Now we play everybody, all these great players get into projects together and do things like the Ocean Beach and just it's nice. It's a great community of really talented people. So
and there are
I'm critically listening
in this area. There are a lot of talented people, though. You know, it's. I wish people would really get out there more and appreciate it before it's gone. You know, because eventually.
We had that chat the other day.
If you don't support local music, it's going to go away, you know. And I don't think that's like something that's going to happen or is near happening. But like so often, I'll have bands, musicians booked, and like the younger generation, younger guys, like, oh, we just want to come out for the DJ. But then say it's like a holiday where I have like a big band, where like Chris Michael's band, Derek and the Fun Bags, Wicked Peach, and they'll come out a little bit earlier, and they're like, oh my God, these guys are awesome. I'm like, yeah, I've been trying to tell you guys, you know what I mean? They're not just like it's not your dad's band out there, you know. There's a lot of really good music. You know, you're out there playing Usher and Justin Bieber and like all these like top 40 songs, and the dance floor is going, and a lot of people are missing out on the live performance of it that are coming later for the digital version, which is also its own thing and it's great. But I just really wish people.
It is great.
So like whenever. You know, a couple of young girls who come out like every Saturday will meander to Sunsets on a Wednesday for lunch. Like, holy shit, this guy's really good. I'm like, yeah, every day I got somebody here who's really good. I promise. Like, you know, but people don't. I don't think that this next generation like is appreciating live music the way that they should.
I would have to agree with that. There's no doubt in that statement that that's true. Yeah, and people put a lot of time into it. Unfortunately, you can do so many things digitally that you don't have to actually do on an instrument and actually articulate or do any of those things that are really hard because you can kind of just recreate it into the average listener or 90% of people. They don't know about those kind of tonality things on guitars or singers.
Myself included.
Right, because you can hear a production like anybody who's singing or rapping, it's a crazy production. There's all kinds of swelling snares in the back, all this stuff that makes you do things emotionally that is figured out by doctors of music, and they're just able to do it without the real live talent being there all the time. So
you got to check out this guy on Instagram. His name's Dudley Music. He opened up for Bone Thugs in New York the other day, right? So this guy, light-skinned black dude with an afro, and he's playing the saxophone and then singing, playing the flute and then singing, and then he had the drum kit, and he's rapping, and he's making the beat as he's, you know, not like creating the beat, but live versioning the beat on his drum kit, and then back to the saxophone, and then back to the microphone, singing. It's one of the most incredible acts. Dudley awesome. Music is. I don't know the guy. I'm just giving him a plug. Like, it's one of the most incredible things, you know, I've ever seen. What a super, super talented musician. And the show I went to was in New York, and I kind of felt bad for him because, you know, he was opening for Bone Thugs, but he wasn't like their opener. He was like the house opener. And then they strolled into the venue like 2 hours later after he was done. They didn't even hear him. And I was like, yo, if like someone needs to hear this guy, someone who had like, this dude was incredible.
Yeah, I love it.
And kind of my point to that story, aside from telling you just somebody that you should check out because I know you would appreciate it, is that when I see guys sometimes like specifically, you know, and no disrespect to anybody else I'm not gonna say, but you and this kid Matt Vizzo that play at Sunsets, I'm like, you're just the right person away from hearing you to be famous. You know, it's not it's got to be such a crapshoot in that industry to be like, if you just watch one of these singing shows and there's 100 people on the show and 99 of them probably could have made it, you know, only one person can win. but it's right there, man. I think it's there for you.
It's cool, and I appreciate that you recognize it. I'll comment to that. This is what we found out in the music community. A lot, there's guys that are out there that are incredible players that are right here in Montville. They're right here, but it's all it's marketing and advertising.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty normal. If I was to go and do anything that was over the, like, if I was just to speak my truth, anything that could market it better. And I realize that, I'm a father and I have a lot of responsibility, and there's things like Nashville and New York that just aren't really on the table. They haven't been on the table for me for a long time, like a decade. If I was to take those leaps, they could be there. Right now, things are transitioning as we speak, with my daughter, my youngest one. So, how do I say this? You can get famous if you have 100,000 likes on Facebook, because then you can just go into the studio and be like, hey, listen, I'm really marketed well in Southern Ohio, and I'm doing all this stuff in this state, and they go, okay, you're good enough. Yeah. Now we'll throw some money at you. Otherwise, it's all your own money, and it's all your own. You have to really just become super popular doing whatever it is that makes you, and not a lot of time it's that you're a great musician. It's that you have like this great mark.
Yeah. Yep. No, and from the business standpoint, I'll do the same thing. So I'm inundated with calls and emails from people who want to play at Sunsets, right? Just like nonstop. There's just so many people out there, and I'll look, and if a band has 300 likes on Facebook, I'm not really going any further. You know what I mean? Then when I've got a band that's got 1,000 or 900 or more is kind of really look for. Some of them have 3,000 or 4,000 likes. I'm like, cool. I don't even need to hear you. Let's book a date. You know what I mean? If they're local, I mean, it doesn't do anything for me. For what I have going on with a bar, if you're from New Hampshire and you have 4,000 likes, it's not really going to do much for me. But if you're from anywhere in Connecticut that's reasonable travel, you're from New Haven, you have 2,000 likes, cool, come on down, let's have you play, without even hearing them. You know what I mean? And sometimes that does blow up in my face, but it's hard. It's hard to judge any other way when every day I'm getting banned. So what can I do but to look? But I think you do a great job with marketing. I think I know that locally, more people show up to see you than any other solo singer, and there isn't even a close second. Ethan brings some people in, but other than that, it's like you can have somebody who's super talented and that nobody comes to see, or you can have sometimes you have somebody who's not very good, but people come to see them. But you're the only person that I feel you have both. Like I can put you do every Monday, and one, it's great to have you, but two, people come to see you.
Yeah, thank you, all of you. I know many of them now by name. Yeah. So there's a lot of really cool regulars that are going there, and I'm getting those texts every day before my show starts when I'm setting up. Hey, you're there, right? And they show up, and we don't know each other any other way but through that. Right. And it's really cool. Made some really good relationships.
Well, you see the connection people have with music, and I'll see, man. Like sometimes there's that cool moment where like somebody's on a date, or maybe they've even just met in the bar and they're dancing to your music, and you see them as the outsider. You're not involved in the equation, but you see the math coming together, and they'll never forget, whether they're about to get married or about to have a one-night stand. They're never gonna forget that moment where they were at Sunsets on the deck, dancing to You Remind Me of a Girl by Usher, and then they're about to go in the car and bang. You know what I mean? But they'll never forget that moment.
No, we've had some really good, crazy feedback in the moment too. Just as people I'm like, yeah, this is really, really cool. That's what I came for. That's what I really wanted, and that's what I still want.
Yeah, it's about moments, life, dude. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like if you can capture those little moments, and I think that you being an entertainer, that puts you ahead of a lot of people in the moments that you get to be a part of. You play these big venues, you play Block Island, you play the casinos, you play everywhere, so you get to see a lot. I would imagine,
Yeah, it's been a really cool ride. It hasn't been as wild as it would seem initially, but it has been. We've got to travel a lot. We've just got to do all these cool things, and it's still on the up. It's not even. It's really good. I feel like I haven't even gotten started. I feel like the decade was a nice boot camp. Yeah. Nice 8 to 10 years of school, just doing this one thing, figuring out microphones, reflections, play styles, singing style, every single thing that has to do with what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I didn't do much of that growing up. For about 20 years of my life, I wasn't really, there was a lot of jazz that I did on a microphone, but we had 14 people on a microphones. It was not like it is now. It's not like it is now. There's just so much more that you can do 20 years later. But yeah, I still feel like the ball's rolling really, really swiftly, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the future is bright for you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that you're a guy right now, and a girl, and you're watching this, and you're like jamming in your basement. How do they take the step to be a professional musician, a Tony Marshall? What advice do you have for a young musician out there?
This is what I would say. I don't know who ever said this. I can't really remember who said it, but I use it all the time. And it's similar to, I was a wrestler growing up, and then, and I'm a really big UFC fan. Me and you have had like 8 podcasts in your office already talking about all this stuff.
I'll toast to that.
Yeah. And I say put yourself on the walk. Once you've made the commitment to anything, like you being an owner of this bar, like just so many things, you have to put yourself on the walk. The fear overcomes every singer. It's not that they can't sing or that they can't play guitar. It's that they'll make up the excuses to not get the tools or not put themselves on the walk. So that was the thing with the open mic. I knew that when I did that, I was just going there with 5 songs, and it really made an impression. People were really clapping because I was so green to it that I was pouring probably double emotion, not because that was correct or it just was there.
Yeah.
It was like an audition for myself. Because I'd never done an open mic on a guitar. It just was this is going to be new, and I did it, and people really felt like that. They knew that I was a beginner. They could tell. I wasn't using a pick. I was just trying to make sound from this guitar.
Yeah. And
Turk was there to do sound. He did a really great job of showcasing those lights on the stage. It really made me look like I was this casino-style singer that's there because I'm tenured there, which eventually happened anyway. But I put a lot of emotion to it. But the walk, once you're on the walk, once you've made the commitment, you never really see anyone turn around from the cage and say no. You see it at lower levels, but we're talking about like once you've made the commitment.
Right.
These guys are hungry to get in there now. They're not like, what did I do? Why am I doing this? And if they are, it doesn't matter. They go, now it's time for execution. So I say to any musician, you got to put yourself on the walk. If you really love music, if you really want to be a part of your life, then put yourself in that situation. There's too many opportunities that are around that there's not an opportunity to get into it kind of easily. Yeah. Some people are afraid of buying equipment. Well, I don't have these speakers. It's like you pay $700 a month for your car. Right. There's ways to get it, and there's a lot of roadblocks for musicians mentally. There are a lot of hidden ones tucked out there that if they just said, okay, I'm doing this open mic, it would start it. It would do it for them.
What would be necessarily your biggest regret, but what would you tell somebody not to do? Is there anything that you're like, when you were on your journey as a musician and you went a certain way and you're like, you know what, this wasn't the right move, this wasn't the right move for my career, this wasn't the right move for me mentally or talent wise? Is there anything that any roadblocks necessarily that you would say to avoid?
Yeah, but it's like such a both ways thing with that, because
we know you go both ways. So
all right, have a good day. Wait.
Don't touch me, bro.
Really? Really? Because of this? Okay. Yeah, musicians are like, there's a lot of original artists and then there's these cover artists. That's what we see most of in like what I'm doing. Yeah. And some have traversed into others. The songwriters, I feel, have been way, they're so talented and so good at what they do, but it doesn't transition into necessarily getting a crowd of like 120 at a brewery in Foxwoods going, because they didn't buy a ticket there. They just want to hear
and they don't know
Third
the song.
Eye Blind, right? They don't know your song or whatever, so it doesn't translate. And then same thing for me, getting the sound that I want to translate into a live show or having a band with a bass guitar that's going to play exactly what I want him to. So I would say 2 things. Do exactly what you want, but also bow down to what's in front of you. I don't know how to say that. Like,
it's a tough middle ground.
And
I understand what you're saying.
I've learned well over 200 songs that, other musicians get annoyed with this when I say it, but
that spike this a little bit.
Yeah, that I don't really like them.
Yeah.
Like I like listening to them, but perform them is not really my juice.
Yeah.
But I do it and get these great reactions. Like I love that song. I'm like, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I know it for you, but I'm not really glad otherwise.
You don't have an emotional attachment
right.
to
It's
it.
like
Do you not feel? Do you not feel that it highlights? Like there's no.
Right. It's not
example.
showcasing my soul in music. It's not showcasing really who I am or what I wanted to convey to you. But if you sing a song well, you know that's half the game.
What do you think's easier to, or more important, to make it as in the music business, a songwriter or a vocalist? You know, I mean, obviously to be both would probably be ideally, but you know, like there's plenty of huge artists out there, and then wouldn't date myself here, but you buy their CD, and then the written by is like 700 people, you know, and there's probably songwriters who can't sing or sing well enough that someone else has to sing their song for them. That's actually gotta be heartbreaking, I would imagine.
Right.
Can you imagine, dude,
There's so many of these guys
pouring your soul into a song, and you can sing pretty well, and you bring it to somebody, and they're like, "Oh, dude, Christina Aguilera would sound dope singing this song.
We're gonna buy it from you."
Yeah. And it's like, I'll take that $1 million, but fuck, that sucks, you know?
Or way less.
Yeah.
You know what? I would say, if I had to answer, because I don't even know the answer to that question, but like I said, marketing is everything. So if you're a super, super attractive person who has their own style and your own stylistic of singing, like Adele has her own style, and these singers, Charlie Puth has his own style of singing, I would say that being the songwriter would probably be, if you wanted to sing your own songs, that would be more important. You know, Charlie Puth isn't a great looker or anything, but he does write these catchy tunes that he keeps for himself, and then he puts them out, and he gets a bunch of number ones. He's making a ton of money.
Right.
He's not a super tall guy. He's not a Calvin Klein model or anything like that, but would someone give him a song to sing? Well, right, with your lines on your stuff. Yeah. Come on. Overrated. Dad bod central over here.
True.
But yeah, I don't know. I think the songwriting is super important. That's where it's really at, because you know, Britney Spears, people talk about it all the time, oh, her vocals are so weak. Go to one of her shows and see the talent level that's put into that production. It is not, it's all, the music was written by writers who are really, really good, and they knew what you were going to like and what you were going to buy, and they put it together with everything to give you this finished product that generates more money than almost any musician out there. You know what I mean?
Right,
so it's like, okay, she can't sing. So how important was that really? And she can sing, but it's not like, I'm not talking like this Whitney Houston type caliber singer. She's a super nominal singer, but a great entertainer, great performer. Dancer. Yeah. She's hot. She's beautiful. Stuff like that. You know, that all was part of it. So yeah, songwriting probably.
Really interesting story that I only heard from you. I think last year. I didn't even know. And tell me about your American Idol experience.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even know that you had anything to do with that. You know what I mean? Because you don't use it in your because like. You'll see guys who are like 5 seconds of fame on American Idol. They didn't even make it, you know, but they'll mark it as American Idol contestant, blah blah blah. You know, you had your American Idol experience, and you don't use it as marketing. But tell me, tell everybody.
I don't know if I was legally allowed to. It doesn't matter.
No, fuck that.
But
yeah, tell that story, man, because I think it's super interesting.
It was cool. It was a great time. It was so exhilarating.
Yeah. So where did you do the tryout?
So this is way back when. This is 2003.
Okay.
And it'd only been a couple years. So, like, Ruben won, and then Kelly Clarkson won or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was in D.C.
Okay. Where's Ruben?
I don't know.
Cheer the fat guy. I don't know where he's at. I love him.
Right, but he's, you know, they didn't want that. They wanted Britney Spears.
Yeah.
He wrote a bunch of songs, and they had to give him the So I decided, you know, at the time, I said, this is definitely something that I can do. This is just a cappella singing. This is what I've been doing my whole life through high school and college. Like, I'm ready for that. So I went to my mom's house that night, and I said, because I knew she'd be excited, so I wanted to share. I was like, hey, I'm going to go do this.
Yeah.
And she's like almost tearing up. She's like, I'm going to go with you. I was like, no, you don't need to go with me.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to know that I'm going to go. And I'm like, I don't know, I was grabbing something in the house too.
Yeah.
And she said, I want to go with you. So I said, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
So my mom went with me, and we wait in the line.
Where'd you go? Where was it at?
This is Washington, D.C. at
my bad.
the Washington Convention Center. So
Okay.
a huge spot.
Yeah.
It's a 1/4 mile long convention center, open to do car shows and everything. So that place was huge. There was about 17 to 18,000 people in line. So it was real, and I wanted to get that. I wanted to know. So I went to idleonfox.com. I registered, got everything set. They want to make sure that you're a legit citizen. There's some things you got to go through with that. So registered, went there, and waited for 27 hours. It was a full day, sleeping on the floor in the convention center. They're selling little blankets. They're just like, hey, this is, kind of like waiting for PlayStation 2. Like, wrapped around
the first iPhone. Yeah, holy shit.
27 hours it took me to get to the end of the line. So I'm just drinking water. I'm singing, and there's a million other people around me that are amazing singers. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like crazy.
Right.
So the way that it works, or I don't know that it works this way now, but the way that it works is that you go through this 3-day process. When I got to the front of that line, they split you off into 10 lines, and then you get in groups of 5 in each line. So that makes 50 people.
Yeah.
And they take their producers and split them into different booths, like 25 producers, and they just split them up. And you go up and you sing for 10 seconds.
To who?
To one of two. You sing to 2 producers at whatever line you get shuffled into in these 5 to 7 booths.
Right.
And you can hear everybody singing their hearts out because you get 15 seconds to do it. This is it. And you don't even know. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought you make it through this, you're going to see Simon.
Yeah.
No. So every line of 5 keeps moving forward, and you have the bracelets on. They're just like, all right, everybody step forward. Snip, snip. We're not even going to let you have any chance at this. Cheers. This whole place is going nuts. It's crazy. It's not fun for a lot of people because they obviously cut way more than they keep. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I get up there and I sang.
What'd you sing?
Oh my gosh, I can't even remember what I sang for my first song, and I don't usually forget this. Bright lights.
Whiskey.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. This is noon. I want to say I sang "Smoke Gets in Your Eyes" by the Platters. It's like a 50s tune.
Okay.
But there, this Motown theme was a big thing. It was always advised, be able to sing like this. We want you to be able to sing Motown because that's the voice control that we're looking for to represent what a pop singer is and American Idol is. So that was written on the website. This is everybody's saying, the producers are saying it as they walk by. They're like, if you got Motown, that's a good idea. A lot of people do the national anthem. A lot of people do this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. So come up with something Motown. So I went up and I sang that song, and another kid in my line sang another song, and they brought all of us forward, and they only snipped 3, and we got in. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Oh, it's happening.
What's that moment like, bro?
That was
crazy.
That right there.
27 hours to get to that moment?
Actually, it was 27 hours to get to the front of the line, and then another probably 35, 45 minutes before I actually got to sing, just watching people cry left and right, and people cheer, hugging their families, because nobody really knew what was going on at that time. So that was the first, that's the first one. Yeah. They're like, go over there, you get this golden ticket, and it says, okay, tomorrow your audition is at this time. Yeah. So I only had like $200 to my name. Yeah. And they're like, oh, well, you can stay in the W. The W is $350, and like I was like, what if I got myself into? Yeah. I was a young kid. I was waiting tables. I just didn't. Yeah. I wasn't ready for that. Yeah. So I ended up staying in the hotel, which they gave American Idol contestants off, like half off, with my mom. Washed my clothes in the sink, dried them on the thing. Like I was really roughing it. Yeah. Now, if I did it, it would be a totally different story. Easy to have the things you need. I just didn't know that I'd be staying there. I had to stay there again next night because the next day I get in line and there's like 5,000 now from the 18,000. They really cut it down. Yeah. So now you see some familiar faces like, oh yeah, you were singing this. I remember passing you. And now you get to know some people. And now the cameras are around trying to get your story and they're doing all this stuff. And then I sang, you go into that room. That's that room that they always walk into. Yeah. And Nigel Sedgwick is there and all of the producers, it's like 30 Fox producers. Yeah. They're all in the background, and the room is like crazy, like all this stuff. It doesn't look like that, but there's a lot of people in that room watching you sing. So I sing again. I can't remember the song I sang for this guy. Yeah. Either way, I sang the song. He goes, "You're good. You're good. You're gonna go. We're gonna put you through." He tells me right away.
Right on the spot.
And he's the guy who does Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, yeah. I knew I recognized the name when you said it, but I couldn't place it. Yeah.
Nigel. So he goes, you're really good, and everybody's nodding their heads. I'm feeling so good about this. He's like, so this is what you want to do in front of Simon, because this is what he likes to rip apart, and this is what he likes to do. He's like, close your eyes too much, because you're a little nervous. He's like, open them, look, engage, fake it. Like, he was giving me real like performance artistry things in the moment, like, now get your ass out of here and good luck. And then they all clapped, and I went out, had my golden ticket. Now the cameras are on you a lot more. I started getting interviewed. My mom was getting interviewed. She had wanted no part of this, but she's super shy. So then the next day I went in and waited in line, and now it's down to just 83 of us.
Okay.
So now we're waiting the whole day for this audition, and I met a lot of people that were amazing. There was a girl that could sing everybody's song better than everybody in the hallway. I said, "Oh my gosh, she's gonna make it."
Yeah.
But she looked she was like a Missy Elliott like reincarnate. She had the Kangol white hat. She looked so fresh, and she was so good. Yeah. And I was nervous. I was like, maybe they don't want. I was like just thinking, maybe they won't. And I started to think, and I told her, I was like, hey, if they don't take you for any reason, because I do think that you're the best, like, don't freak out. Yeah. She didn't make it. She freaks out. Yeah. Well, we all got to know each other through all the days, and I went and I sang, and then I sang "You Remind Me" by Usher. Yeah. That's what I sang. So Paula Abdul's in the room, Randy Jackson, Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray, and Simon, because they have him as a guest judge that day. Yeah. Sing the song. They all like it. Randy's like, yo, you're good to go, dog. I'm like, I'm losing.
What kind of moment is that, bro?
Now, see, I wasn't ready. I see that my face started contorting in the camera. Like, my lips started to quiver a little bit, because I'm like, really? I did all this stuff my whole life. I poured my heart and soul into music.
And Randy Jackson just gave you the thumbs up, dog.
Right. And Paul's like, I think it's good. And Mark Ross like, I could never sing like that. That's amazing. He's like, yeah, I like it. Yeah. And Simon's like leaning back, like tapping his pencil. And I know something's wrong. Yeah. And that's why my face is getting like, I don't know if I'm going to make it, because I can see him not like it. Yeah. And he goes, I think you're a copycat. And I was like, how so? Like, I'm like, what do you mean? You know, he's like, you sound just like Usher. He's like, you sound exactly like him. Yeah. He's like, which is fine. He's like, but we're looking for Tony Marshall. I didn't hear Tony Marshall. He's like, so Randy goes, if you sound like Usher, you're ready to get into the bit. Like, I like that. Yeah. And Paul's like, and Mark McGrath goes, yeah, I really like that too. I agree with that statement. And I'm like, sweet. Paul's like, no, I agree with his statement, but I also agree that, yeah, we do want to hear it like you. Yeah. Could you do it again? So then I sang, I can't even remember what I sang again. Yeah. But immediately when I'm done, he goes, I think you sound like that guy now. He just didn't even catch a breath. And Randy's like, I don't care. I think it's good, you know? Yeah. And then I said, do you mind if I say something? I was like, I started talking. I said, I work with you guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. You send me, I can do it. Like, give me 5 minutes of just trying to find wherever that is. Yeah. I was like, I'm singing covers. If I sang a song that I wrote, maybe it would. I was like, I don't know. I didn't have that prepared, but I can do it. Yeah. So then, Mark McGrath goes, you know what? Now that he said that is really weird. I think you'd sound like him too. You know. Yeah. And Randy's like, He's like, he's like good to go on me the whole time. Yeah. And then Mark McGrath's like, yeah, bro, I don't know. He's like, I think to make it to go to Hollywood, I think I'm gonna go with a no now. And I was like, what? And then Paula goes, so maybe you could work on that, you know, and then come back to us and like find right where you're supposed to be, right. Because you are really good. But we do want the American Idol. We want somebody that's new. We don't want another, you know, we don't need another Usher. Mm-hmm. And Randy's sitting there like he's like smiling, but he's like it was a yes from him. And so Simon's tapping the pencil, still looking down the aisle of all of them. Yeah. He goes, I guess the answer's no. Sorry. Throws the pencil down like, no, beating me up. Yeah. And I said, thank you, did my best, and I walked out, and I was okay. Yeah? I was okay. Yeah, the cameras are on me, and I wasn't going to, like, make a spectacle for that at all. Right. I came out like, you win some, you lose some. I was devastated. Yeah. That was the most devastating thing that had happened to me. I hadn't lost any friends yet. Yeah. I hadn't had any children. There was nothing like that. So I was just a green little kid. But yeah, my mom drove us home instead of me driving, and I fell asleep the whole way. Started to tear up, just fucking fell asleep, feeling bad for myself. Yeah. The aftermath was cool though, because all the filming that they did, I was on all the commercials and my audition, and all this stuff was happening. So one day I'm schlepping back from casino, my job, stopping at my local watering hole, and like it's packed in there. When I get in there, like, that's a dude. You were just on TV, and they all rush the door. Because American Idol was so huge in 2000, it was like, this is the show. Yeah. So yeah, the aftermath was pretty cool for the whole American Idol thing because I did come home and it doesn't air. Nothing airs for quite a while.
Yeah.
So I'm just working, living my life, and I stop at the bar on the way home that I always go to.
Which is what?
I think it was CJ Saloon at the time. This is in Gales Ferry.
Okay. This is the one on that changes all the time.
So it was Legends for a long time with my friend Glenn that was running it.
It was a voodoo something. It was like when I was managing the Gold Club, it was some kind of like voodoo something. Whatever. Yeah, I know I know the spot you're talking about.
And there was like 80 or 90 people in there, and they just blew up. Literally rushed the door. It was really crazy because of how big the show was at the time, and how it was the bee's knees, and everybody's watching the show. Yeah. So everybody had all these questions for me. And
so what did they air? Did they air your audition or?
No, they didn't air my audition. They aired me talking. They aired me on 2 commercial breaks. One I was just like lost at the kid, where it's just like, oh, we'll be right back. But I ended up getting on TV like 4 times that night, and yeah, it was cool. And no one knew that I'd gone to do it. But the little follow-up story that I want to tell you about is that I went back the next week with my friend Chet. Yeah. We flew out to San Francisco. I was like, I got so close. I'm just going to go and redo this. This is light work for me to be myself. Like, I was trying to really do it. Like, let's go. Yeah. So we do the whole thing again. Yeah. Waiting in line in a stadium seating now because it's not a convention center. So I go in, catch the same line, same 2 producers. I bought them a drink one night. I wasn't drinking, but I was like, they're like, oh, you sang the Brian McKnight. Oh, my God, you're going to make it. You're one of the guys that's going to make it. And I'm like, go back to the hotel room like, Mom, the producers are saying I'm going to make it. So I go in the line. I sing the same tune. She has no idea who I am. Just goes and snips me. So that was like, no shit. That was my celebrity. Yeah. And it's all weight gain, depression. No, I just... yeah, that was it. That was like me and my friend went out on the town that night just getting crappy, playing video games at a bowling alley with just Dance Revolution. I was just like not feeling it. I was like, I can't believe this. I got so lucky to get in the same line. Because there's like 10 booths. And it's like I could have been in
Did you get to say anything to them? Like, or was it just like, here, go?
No, you don't. They shuffle the 5 forward, 10 seconds apiece. Cut it. They really want to move it because it's a long line. 30-hour lines are crazy. Yeah. And I wasn't even at the end of the line by any means. So the people that were past me probably waited closer to 32 to 33 hours before they would get up there. Yeah. Yeah, it was fun.
So the point of the story is if we ever see Mark McGrath, we're going to slap the shit out of him.
Dude, my friends have said that. All my friends are like, well, get on. Nah, big ups. You know what? To Mark, he came in the night before and he said, this is so incredible. He's like, what I thought music was, what I do in music, and the songs that we write, he's like, it is so oriented around something that is different than what I'm feeling in this room. He's like, I've never been around people that sing this good. He's like, I could never sing like this. Yeah. You said that. And he said that to everybody, and he goes, I wish that all of you could make it. He's like, and I understand that my rock band, we do a different thing. We're in the studio constantly, and there's guitars, and there's a lot of mixing down, and there's just a lot that goes on in the production of it. And he's like, this is like, you guys, all of your souls are here doing this. It's really cool. And he's like, I appreciate that, so good luck to all you tomorrow. Then
goes and kicks you in the dick.
Dude, what are you doing here?
Fucking
get out of here. We don't need you as a guest.
Fucking just want to fly.
Already. They're the originals.
I know, dude. If there was no guest judge, dude, you had Paul and Randy, right? You got to slide in Randy.
Paul swayed, and he swayed too. That was It was 3 on 1, 3 on 1. And then it turned to 3 on 1. The other way, I'm like, damn.
You got to find Randy. Get in his fucking face. Let's say, dog.
He'd be like, I've heard 70 million people since you, and you don't.
Nah, he'd remember you.
I do work on the. I'll tell you, yeah, he would. He definitely would. You remember me, Tony Marshall,
2003.
Yeah, you're like on local tour. I follow you. That's what he would say. Now I pay attention to this as far as my vocals because I feel that's my strong point anyway. I've always been a singer. Yeah. And there's been a lot of time for me to showcase that, practice it. Mm-hmm. I get hours and hours and hours a week playing guitar and singing, and then I practice on my own. So there's just a lot of time under tension. You can't help but get incrementally better, even if it's small steps. What I was doing 10 years ago is not what I'm doing now. It's night and day. So I'm still hopeful.
You should be, man. I definitely think you should be. I don't think you should not be hopeful.
Yeah.
We're gonna go off course a little bit here. People who just know you from your last 10 years of a music career may not know. How many fights you got?
2 amateur fights, sanctioned amateur fights underneath 2 real organizations, and then multiple other things, grappling matches and other exhibition matches.
Yeah. So now, an amateur MMA fight is the same thing as a pro MMA fight. They just don't pay you. It's not. It's not.
Actually, there's different rules.
They couldn't elbow on the ground, I think.
To the face.
But more or less, it's not. I think when people hear about even amateur boxing, they think amateur and they think it's nobody. It's a fight.
And the rules are different from state to state too. So,
but it's
a fight. You're using an 8-ounce MMA glove instead of a 6-ounce or 4-ounce MMA glove.
Right.
And it's a little bit more padded, but oh boy.
Yeah, but a lot of that padding lands here. When you're no matter what you're talking about, a boxing glove. When the people say, "Oh, he's got 16-ounce glove on," 8 of it is over here. There's a lot of it.
It's only this much.
Then there's a little. Then there's some here. Then there's the thumb. You're not. The glove isn't doing a whole hell.
No, it's making it so that it can just connect flush without cutting you and stuff like that.
Well, the more or less, the glove keeps you from breaking your hand. The glove is more for the guy punching than the punchee, which a lot of people look at and they don't see and they don't realize. But
and there's a whole philosophy about that, about having a stiff wrist,
right?
How much of an advantage it gives you to knock people out, like Frank Abbott and using the glove. And
right. So you got fights. Yep. How did that come about?
I was a wrestler my whole life, so I really loved the competitive aspect of it.
Yeah.
Music doesn't really have that. There is no competition between me and any musician out here, as much as anyone would. Some of them might think too.
Yeah.
I'm doing my own thing. It really doesn't have too much to do with any competition.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to compete again, and I was just so in love with kung fu movies when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I did martial arts for 9 years of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was out of college, I went to a fight, saw my boy Chaz Ackles throw it down, really turn someone's face into hamburger meat, and that kid was a great fighter too, but it was just too overwhelming with Chaz. So I went up to it was not Daryl or Kent, it was Jay Jodwin actually, I believe. I went up to him and told him,
okay,
I want to come down and fight, and he's like, oh, cool. So talked to Kent, so I went down,
me
and my buddy, and we started fighting, and we started training. I really enjoyed the training part, which I still, with Whaling City MMA or Whaling City Athletics, I still just love to be part of the whole growth for anybody that wants to get the mentality of putting yourself on the walk, being a better version of yourself, and doing martial arts to learn how to center yourself and think about things more methodically, and whatever martial arts can do for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got into it, and we were with some studs in that room, man.
Yeah, John Jones fought for that organization, man. Yeah.
Same card as me.
This guy fought in a card with John Jones, the greatest fighter that's ever lived.
It's so crazy. If you go back and look, he was maybe 3-0 or something.
Yeah.
We didn't know. We were in the gym. We're on Foxwoods at the rec center. This is where the fight is held.
Yeah.
And it can fit a lot of people in there. And this kid, I mean, he wiped the guy up in about 9 seconds. The guy just kind of barreled over like, oh, my God, this is way too much.
Yeah.
Finishes him on the ground like, who's this kid? And then 2 years later, UFC phenom. And I'm like, oh, my God, that's that guy that was at the War in the Woods.
Yeah.
That's crazy. This is the guy. Now we're all so connected with everything. You know what I mean? Rampage has told you're directly through. I'm gonna kick you.
Yeah, Rampage. If you don't know, Rampage Jackson has threatened my life, but
a little bit.
Yeah,
a lot bit.
Yeah, well, the fight world is so small. You know what I mean?
Right, it is small.
That's why I can go to Dublin and walk in the gym and meet Conor McGregor, and it's easy. Because I know the guy who was a manager for my boy Adrian managed Patty Houlihan, who's another fighter out of the gym, and it's that he's a Brennan Ward fan. It's just that easy.
Right.
What made me really think of that was when you were talking about making the walk for a musician. Can you compare the two, the vulnerability of being on stage and singing compared to the walk out to a fight? Because what a lot of people don't know, if you've been in a bar fight or something, it's a whole different thing. It's knowing. I was talking about this with Shelly a little bit, but the night before, especially she has 27 pro fights and whatever, but the night before, man, trying to sleep and. Me and you are in a bar, we get in an argument, there's fear, there's adrenaline. It's not like, hey, come back in 2 weeks and we're going to fight at this spot at this time.
Right.
And every night, some nights you're going to sleep, I'm going to kill this guy. And other nights you're going to sleep like, oh my God, what if my mom sees my teeth, get my teeth knocked out? It's very vulnerable. It's just you. You're in the ring, in the cage, in whatever, and you're just there. And it's just you. What comparisons would you make? Because you've done both.
So there's definitely a huge similarity because you can talk to any singer, especially ones that haven't done it.
Yeah.
You watch their body language change. It's
right,
like you're saying, hey, this guy downstairs, he's coming up to kick your ass right now. Yeah. You're like, hey, you have to sing tomorrow. I did it with somebody the other day, and she's like, oh my God. She can't catch her breath. She's like, this is insane to even think about that. And we're talking about a small little thing.
Right.
So I'd say that the adrenaline, they're obviously way different. When you have fear of getting physically damaged,
yeah,
I don't know. The face gets hot the same way. If you get on stage and you're just not ready for it, and you're beginning, it is so intimidating. I've seen people pass out.
Yeah,
I've seen people puke.
Yeah,
and it's real. And so I don't know. Have you ever seen a cage fighter go in there and puke? I think their defense mode turns on, whereas there's no defense mode in singing, so that it also has that almost more vulnerability.
Right, but it's to be honest, before my last fight, I was Jay Holt. Do you know Jay Holdsworth?
Yes.
He was warming me up, and I was like, Jude, I can't feel my legs. I just couldn't feel my fucking legs. I'm nailing a pad. And it was just the
boot feels too tight, glove you're like, what the heck is going on?
Right, just everything feels uncomfortable.
Change the physiology.
The moment, but it's not, to me anyway. And I don't think I'm in the minority here. It's not the physical damage. It's not knowing that some other guy out there wants to break. It's like I don't want to go out there and get embarrassed in front of my friends.
Right.
I don't want to go out there.
That is absolutely it. This is a sanctioned fight.
I don't. You can
get hurt, but I mean.
Yeah, but I go in the gym all the time. I get hurt. I've had 2 fights myself. And I've been hurt way worse in the gym by Brennan, by Josh, by Cassius, than ever
big guys
in a fight. It's not. I'm not like, oh man, I don't want to go out and get beat up by this guy. So I don't want to go get beat up in front of my friend.
Right. Even if a guy's slick and not hurting you, it makes you look silly that you don't know how to do what he's doing.
Right.
Right.
And all your friends like, oh, he sucks.
Right. They're like, oh, he slipped all those punches. Like, dude, we will try to work on these.
But I would imagine it's not a fair comparison because I'd be terrified to sing in front of a crowd because I just can't fucking sing. But I would imagine doing the same thing. You're just, all right, I'm up on the stage and there's 100 people here and I'm gonna sing now. What if people think I suck? It has to be.
Yep. And I think you know what, and that's a good point. That is where it is because, like I said, that defense mechanism comes in a little bit. But man, you see guys, you get very used to that. Yeah. Especially if you stay in the cage and you're above 10 pro fights. Yeah. You're not thinking about the pain at all. Now it's not even a relevant factor. Now it's like. My family depends on. There's so many other things that come into that, right? Yeah. So, and then the fame and all that stuff. So, yeah, I think that connection is the one. It's where you are. This is entertainment, so it's like you don't want to go out there and be bland. You don't want to go out there and people be like, "Let's get this is enough."
Right.
You would be like, That's that, especially the singers who are not like fighters. Right. I would say that they're just not.
Yeah.
Not to make the direct comparison. They're not like fighters. But, you are showcasing yourself up there. So I actually froze up one time when I was doing a show. One time in my life.
Really?
Singing.
Yeah.
Stared at the crowd. Everyone's like, and I was like, I couldn't get back into it.
No shit.
My girlfriend at the time's on the ground. She's like, I'm like, just like that. Like my face got so hot.
What did you do?
It took me about 20, maybe 23 seconds.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And I just started strumming the guitar and got back into the next verse.
Yeah.
I literally never had, I've been on stage 1,000 times before I even got on stage with my guitar.
Yeah.
So I thought that those nerves were gone. But yeah, when you're singing a song and people all into it and you're like, yeah. I forget words now. There's just a different level of musicianship that I have. That
you work my name into songs often.
Right. Plus all the time on the, doing it. The lyrics and stuff like that, I don't forget words that often anymore.
Yeah.
I really don't. But when I do, it's the musicianship and the time on the road that has made it so that doesn't really bother me. But when it first happened to me, I went.
Yeah. I want to get a little Suave. How we doing on time, man? Are we okay? Yeah. Shout out to Suave. Suave's a fucking man.
I know. Thank you, man.
Suave, follow Suave, man. He makes this podcast happen, man. He makes sure that it's not on a cell phone in my fucking house. You know.
You sure you don't want to do it in your basement?
Yeah.
A lot of people are telling you to do that.
I know,
on your phone.
So I'm gonna kind of ambush you a little bit here, but I think it's important. It's a story.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
St. Patrick's Day 3 years ago.
Oh, I didn't see this one coming. Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
So before I preface, I recently got peppered spray at my bar.
Insane.
The worst thing that's ever happened to me. Long story long, this guy said some really crude things to some women, told him he had to leave. And he, little guy was leaving with no problem. On the way out the door, my bartender was like, "Oh, hey, I got this guy's tabs credit card got declined." So I grabbed his card. I'm like, "Hey, man, I need $18. No problem. I'll get it from my car." Again, long story short, I walk outside with the guy, and he says, "Hey, asshole," and pepper sprays me in the face. The worst fucking pain ever. And I thought at that point I was going to get attacked. I can't see. I can't breathe. I've never, if you've ever had pepper spray, like, if you've ever even been in a crowd where pepper spray is, it's horrible. Never mind somebody just dumping it into your face.
Closes your throat immediately.
So I just kind of shelled up. I thought I was about to get attacked. Not a lot of people know the story, so I'm just sharing it. But the point of kind of my story was I went outside with this guy with no fear because I don't worry about that kind of stuff because I am in the gym all the time, I'm fat and out of shape. I'm in there banging out. There's not a lot of people that really worry me to go outside with. So yeah. And this guy wasn't even hostile. He was kind of a dick, but he wasn't even hostile. Right. And I think you might have put yourself in the same situation with the confidence. Oh, nothing's really going to happen to me. And I thought we
were going to win. I thought I was like, this will be all right.
So, and I'm going to tie this back into music, but can we kind of touch on that story a little bit?
Oh yeah, for sure. Without bringing a lot into it, the details are there pretty.
I was in Hot Rods. And Gabby Joda was like, "Yo, Brennan's fighting outside." And I went outside, and everything was all done, and there were some cop cars and shit. But
right, so there was just little beefy things going on throughout the night.
St. Patrick's Day, dude. Everyone's fucked up.
Everybody's having drinks, So I play Hot Rods. I play there every year on St. Patrick's Day, and I had like 15, 16 people with me.
Yeah.
That were from work and stuff, and that don't always frequent the spots that I do. And they're like, "Yeah, we wanted to come spend this day." Instead of driving up to Danielson or doing this, or we're going to be with you.
Yeah.
So basically, it wasn't a safety reason, but it was so crowded there. So I said, let's go down the street.
Yeah.
Because trying to get 15 drinks
in
a row at Rod's on St. Patrick's Day
forget about
probably not going to happen.
Yeah, forget about it.
Then they have the best staff, and they're very fast, but it just gets really crowded.
Yeah, no, that's not a knock on them. It's just the same thing. Saturday night at Sunsets, you're not getting a drink. It's the same reason you go to Disneyland, you're going to wait and ride for an hour because the ride's awesome. Right.
So I went down the street with them, and everything was good. We're playing pool. Everybody's calm, and it's really nice. Yeah. And I thought I swear I felt that night like I'm doing really a right thing for me right at this moment in who I am. Like, I'm singing well, I'm playing well, I'm creating a party. Yeah. Things I never thought that I would do with singing. I thought I was going to be a different type of singer that didn't do this, and I was happy about all of it. Growth, it's really good. Friendship, and everybody's down there, and it just, without all the details of what led up to it, for many reasons. One of my friends, another friend, they're kind of beefing. The kid sprints back at us. Yeah. After all this crap has gone, he just sprints back at us. Yeah. So I stepped in the way, like I was there in the middle saying, "Don't fight us." Yeah. And they're saying, "You're a..." Yeah. And I'm like, I don't care. I was kind of smiling. I was like, that's fine. Yeah. I was like, you can think whatever you want about me. I don't know you, and I don't care who you guys are. Just leave us alone. Just don't fight with us. Right. But let us be. I don't want anything wrong. I don't think anything about your mom or who you are. I don't care. You can say anything you want, but just leave us alone. Right. So now he comes sprinting back at us. So I laid him. He probably doesn't even know because of what happened after that. 3 jumped on, 4 jumped on. Yeah. My other friend's fighting. Yeah. And it started to go down the alley. I've watched the video a lot. So 2 guys.
Oh, there's a video?
Yeah, I got to see it quite a bit, actually. It was in the police station quite a bit with the detective to figure out the scenario. But so, it turned. It was only 3, and they're trying to whap me. I'm covering up really nice.
Yeah.
One of them hits me square right through, like a shovel punch.
Yeah.
Like it hit. I'm like, that all you got, you know what I mean? And little blood starts trickling. I'm like, I'm not going down.
Yeah.
I'm talking shit.
Yeah.
And then they like get off me, and I don't realize that they're done with me. So I horse collar this kid, and drag him and trip him down the hill and like sling him.
Yeah.
And he like flails back on his back, and now I'm back up again. The two kids rush at me again.
Yeah.
I probably, if I right there, I just couldn't see in the dark. So now they jump on me 2, 3, 4, it gets to 6.
Yeah.
And they're like dragging me down up against the wall. It was really bad.
Yeah.
My dad had an opportunity to watch this video too. He did not set well.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
And then homeboy, who apparently had just whipped this knife out many times during the night to anybody that was threatening to anything.
Yeah.
See it come out, switchblade. So now he's walking down the alley, does it.
Yeah.
This is off camera.
Yeah.
You can't see this, but yeah, there was like 7 slices on my back. One really, really big one when my coat was up.
Yeah.
That exposed my spine, liver, kidney. It was super deep. Just felt like a bunch of bee stings.
Yeah.
You don't feel them on clean blades like that.
Right, right.
Doctor thought that it was a razor blade. It was actually just a really very high quality switchblade.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that sucked. So
Yeah, I remember hearing it, and I was texting Jay Smolko, and he was at the ER. He's like, oh, everything's okay. But I could not believe when I heard that happened. You know, tie that back to the beginning when I'm like, dude, I don't know anybody who doesn't like Tony Marshall. I couldn't believe that happened to you.
You know, and I thought about, obviously I had to do a lot of thinking about it. There was a lot of staples in my back. There was a lot of talk about it at the time, but I just, there is a lesson to take from it. You know what I mean? There was a big lesson, and there was a ton of things that I'm not saying that I walk away from that, because I can't say that I would just like, if 2 guys surrounded you and started shoving you into the wall and you're like, yo, and you were kind of defenseless, that I wouldn't go up and do something. But there has to be the awareness now that not only could someone have a knife, they can have pepper spray or a gun.
Right, and the same thing. I had to deal with something Sunday that I would have normally handled by myself. I went and grabbed my guy Cisco.
Got froggy, you would have just pulled him and called 911 with the other hand.
Right.
But he used a weapon on you.
Right. So now I had something else I had to deal with this weekend. Not a big deal, but I grabbed my boy Cisco out of the and something I would have normally walked on myself. And I was like, hey man, just come out here with me on this. You know what I mean?
It's a good guy to walk out with.
Yeah, but just to. You know, but it normally would have been something that I would handle myself, because I never felt that before. You know, I never felt helpless when I couldn't see, I couldn't breathe, felt totally helpless, dude. I didn't know if they were gonna stab me. And then, you know, I told my mother the story. She's like, that could have been a gun. You can't go into parking lots with guys. I'm like, yeah.
It just hurts you more, cuts you. Decides, you know, this kid was cutting me, so he's a ruffian.
Yeah.
He could have just pulled my head back.
Yeah.
While the 6 of them were in front of me and killed me easily. He could have punctured me, stabbed me right in the middle of my back. He didn't do that, but that guy didn't have to. If he's gonna be psycho, he could have come out and just cut you too. Like, all of it's bad. There's nothing good about any of it. So
now, what we're circling back, being that was in a bar, did you have any anxiety about getting back into a bar to play?
No.
No, nothing.
No.
I didn't know.
I tried to question myself if that was weird. If I was like, are you like ignoring something about this? I don't know, man.
And I don't know how that would be either. But to me, that's just something that I wonder. It's like, you make your living in a bar, and the worst thing that could ever happen to you just happened in a bar, other than fucking Mark McGrath. Fuck Mark McGrath.
Dude.
Well, I didn't know, you know, if I was a fisherman and I got bit by a shark, I might find a new job.
Right,
you know.
And some of them, they're like, there's sharks out there.
Yeah,
that's what there's out there.
I
it's
can
like,
never be that cool.
Shit,
I can never be that cool. Fuck the ocean.
No, I didn't have any trouble. You know, I went down and I talked to the owner. I know there's a lot of lost stuff. I know that everyone gets scared. I'm not that kind of dude. Yeah. I said, you know what? You own an establishment. This could happen in any alleyway. It really could have, because of who I was around and who that guy was. Yeah. You know, he got a lot of jail time for it. I hope that, I don't know what lesson's gonna. I think it should be more of a lesson to him.
Right.
But who knows?
Yeah.
The rest of the kids that were there, you know, I see them around town. I don't know if they recognize me or not, but it's fine, because it was gonna be a sweet little fight.
Right.
Some of us won. I didn't win, but that's fine. You win some, you lose some, and I was like, no. Yeah. The amount of the cut was really like, okay. Now I've seen, even if a guy and a girl are like arguing, I'm like, I'll leave soon. I don't even want to stick around for this, because who knows what's gonna happen.
Right. Well, look what happened to that kid Joey in Groton. You know,
exactly. That's the situation right there.
I only casually know him because he used to come to the club, but a lot of people who are friends with him, or friends of mine. You know what I mean? And here he was trying to stop.
And he didn't just have a couple people that loved him. He had
yeah.
It's thousands upon thousands of people that like locally.
Right, but I mean, he was just he saw a domestic thing, and you know.
And again, right? Like I said, do I turn away from that? So I don't know. I still kind of struggle with the lesson that's to be learned from that. Like, what was I defending? That's another question. What was I? I wasn't defending anything. I was just trying to make them. If I just walked away, the fight would probably have ensued, and somebody else was probably get hurt. He was whipping the thing out all night. So I'm like,
right. I do remember you telling me that actually. Now that all that they saw, that knife came out a few times.
And that's probably the biggest part of that investigation to get, because he was ready to.
Yeah, he was looking to.
Right, anybody who gets froggy.
He was looking for an excuse to show everybody what a tough guy he was.
Toughest of them all. In the back. Stab someone in the back.
Yeah. It's literally the same.
You know what I mean?
Right.
What did you do? Anyway.
Yeah, I just didn't know if that had any mental effect on you as far as your career as singing in those kind of environments.
No, I play at really good spots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really do. I don't play at spots that I ever feel that I'm in jeopardy. And that didn't actually happen at a spot that
you play at.
Right. So, I don't know. Things happen. I definitely will assess the situations a little bit more and take into consideration the worth of what that is.
Yeah.
I don't know that it was that night. But then again, thinking back, it wasn't that he just said, all right, enough is enough. I'm going to go cut this kid. He was ready to cut all of us. On my side of things.
So I'm going to tie this into a different story that we're not going to really get too much into. Or need to. So I first met you. I was managing the Gold Club in Groton, which is now Minx. 2006 to 2008 ish, somewhere in there. My friend Tony, his father was a partner in the place. This guy out of Providence, and why those kind of people own those places. But so my friend Tony in question, him and I threw. Do you remember the first time that we ever met? Because we did talk about this once.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my friend Tony threw this house party in Norwich, and
we did talk about this a long time ago.
Long time ago. We've never addressed it again.
Keith was there.
Yeah. So, because Keith was dating this girl, Megan Grandmason, who knew you, right? From Ledgerd?
Yeah, and a couple of the kids that I was with.
And you came with this kid.
Holy crap. I didn't expect this one either.
Yeah,
Let's go. Get it on. Let's go.
So, I'm going to tell this story. I'm going to tell the story from my perspective. So, we had a party, and this one kid was at the party, and nobody knew him. He was a total asshole. He was with you. He was not you. He was with you.
Right.
Barry.
He was being...
So... something happened. He ended up getting kicked out of the party. And I go down to the street, and he's arguing with my friend Levan. This kid Levan, street guy from Willimantic. He's a tough kid. And
between Bridgeport and... Yeah, he was like...
I'll never forget this. The kid, Barry, was in Levan's face screaming, Ledgerd, what? Ledgerd! I was like, what? And
doing some crazy...
The next thing I know, my friend Levan has punched this kid in the face. And you, which I don't know you at the time, I kept seeing you wanting to help your friend. I'm like, bro, stop. Don't. Just let him have...
Right.
Let him have a head up. Let him have a head up. And then eventually the kid's on the ground. And then you jumped in. And then I jumped in. And it turned into this huge... thing.
Huge melee. So, I don't remember anybody except for him. I know that there was people helping him.
At one point, Keith James always tells this story. The kid, the only one I've ever landed in my life in a real competition. The kid Barry got up off the ground, and I landed a head kick a Peter Rogers karate head kick right on him. I think he lost a tooth, and then
that way he lost a tooth.
And I ended up by the time I found you on top of him. I think I punched you in the back of the head a couple times.
Somebody was kneeing me. There was some things that.
But then the cops are coming and we're trying to get out of there. So then me and Levan, we get in my car. I had this Mazda 66, and all of a sudden, I think both you, if not him, was like punching my windshield. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it wasn't me. It was him.
Yeah,
I'm like, let's go.
And the cops are going, like, get the fuck out of Dodge. But who would know that? You're one of my favorite people in the world.
Dude, that's so funny. I forgot that was your house. I know that we talked about it, but we haven't talked about it like this.
No.
That's really cool.
That's a story from my perspective. That's how...
No, that's how it went down. I had a friend that
remember.
was with us on crutches running down the street, and I'm like, oh, my God, what's going on? Because I was beatboxing. Do you remember what was happening in the backyard?
No, I don't. I
was beatboxing, and everybody standing around is rapping. and he comes up and he's saying some Ebonics he should not.
Yes, yeah.
And they're like, is this white boy saying this every other word?
Yeah.
Like he's Ja Rule right now?
Yeah.
Like he just says, this is a thing. You don't have the right to, whatever. You can't say that.
Yeah.
You can't say that in Norwich in 1999. You can't do that.
So it was my friend Tony's house, and him and his father and his grandmother lived there, and we used to throw house parties. And he would bring his grandmother to Providence for the day, and but she would always be. She's passed away. She was a great soul. She had this heavy accent. She would be like, "Summer come, trouble come," and I'll never forget. Throw these ragers at the house.
Yeah,
but
there was a lot of people there, and then when we were leaving, he's lipping off to him, and he got Levon. I was like, this kid is like 6'2" and jacked.
Yeah.
And he was chasing me up and down the street.
Yeah.
I took him down quite a few times, but there was people, I don't know if you were with, I think you were with Fight My Other Friend, but people trailing me, like as soon as I would take him down and try to get on top of him, there's knees coming up my temple, I'm rolling, and they're like, oh no, I'm going to die tonight, this is terrible.
No, the point of my story also, though, was that Levan is a bad dude. You had him full mount when I got over there,
Yeah, dude, he was picking me up like this to try to aim at my face, and as soon as he would throw it, I would just barely get out, and then I would just do like a straight up, like really quick takedown.
Yeah.
I wasn't in any punching mode at that point, and like really turn him upside down, like like friggin' Daniel Cormier Gustafson. Like I was trying to really, I was like, I don't know how to hurt him anyways. I haven't boxed in my life yet. I was 17 or whatever. Or maybe I was 19, or maybe I was 18. I don't know. I was young.
I don't know, dude.
And I was like, he keeps getting back up and then grabbing me and like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you, white boy. And I'm like, no.
I just thought that was a really funny story that the people should have.
Yeah, that's great. That's good, man. There it is.
All right, man. I think that's a wrap, man. Where can people find you? Like, they want to see you play. How do people find you?
So you can visit your favorite bar on Instagram. You'll see my dates there posted. Thank you.
Yeah.
My website is Tony Marshall Music. So if you go to TonyMarshallMusic.com, Tony Marshall Music on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram.
All one word, right?
All one word, Tony Marshall Music. And then you can find my calendar that I put up on the 1st or 2nd of every month. The dates change a little bit more than they do, say, if I was Dave Grohl. They're not as set in stone because of just weather and stuff like that, but you can always message me, or you can always talk to me directly if you want to make sure a date is solid or anything like that.
And you do weddings and stuff as well,
I do
right?
weddings,
You're available for private bookings.
Yep, all that good stuff.
And I'm gonna put you on the spot one more time.
Sure.
We got a microphone here. You sing a little ditty.
Damn it! I didn't see that one coming up too.
Good, perfect. That means I'm doing
what
a
should
good
I do?
job.
Yeah, it's a good
Anything.
one. You're like Ariel Hawani. and then how did your father beat you? What do you mean? All right, it's crazy. Yeah, what should I do?
I don't know. Maybe Mark McGrath is watching.
Maybe. Yeah. All right. No, we'll sing a little Usher. This is what got me booted off the show, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
I see the thing about you that caught my eye is the same thing that makes me change my mind. It's kind of hard to explain, but girl, I'll try. You need to sit down, this may take a while.
Love it, man.
You got to come out and see the show.
Come see him. Hit up Tony Marshall Music. Give me a like. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Really, it helps more than you know. Even if you just tune into the show for 5 seconds, or if you're tuning in because Tony's your friend and you're not going to watch another one, if you just hit that like button, man, I really appreciate it. I really got a good thing going. Thumbs up. I love you so much, man.
Me too, man.
Thank you.
Fun time.
Yes.
Fun time.
All right.